Welcome everyone to Fake It Till You Make It, a Sakuetsu Heart Comfort series. This one is my 10k special and it will be multiple parts, at least 6, because this is the longest script I have ever written for you guys. I hope so much that you will enjoy it because I tried my best in writing this to give something back to you for this amazing milestone on the channel, and now let's go. What do you want, Motoya? I'm at practice. Sakusa grumbled the words while pressing the door to the locker rooms open with his shoulders, since his hands were occupied with his bag and phone, as well as a water bottle he intended to drink from when his cousin called. Apparently, early in the morning when both of them had their occupations was the best time for a little chat. No, you're on your way to practice. Subtle but important difference. Not really. I'm already here, and late. Mia won't let me live this down the whole day. A small chuckle echoed from the other end of the line. I know, but you still gotta change, so just put me on speaker. I have to talk to you. Sakusa rolled his eyes, but obliged. His cousin for sure could be annoying, but if he said there was something to talk about, he trusted him that it wouldn't be something trivial. You're lucky that you caught me the one day I'm late. If the others were here, I wouldn't. If by day you mean week, then sure. You're not as unpredictable as you think you. Whenever you're stressed, you over-organize stuff until you're so far in the future that you forgot the present. Happens every year when family events roll around. Sakusa scowled at his phone as he pulled the shirt over his head. Which, by the way, is exactly what I wanted to talk about. There is nothing to talk about. I'm not going. You will. Why? So that my parents can pretend they have forgotten my coming out yet again and play matchmaker? Setting me up with one of the daughters from mom's friends? Again? I'm not saying you're not justified in not going. I'm just saying you won't. Despite everything I ever tell you, you can't seem to cut ties with them. If you haven't noticed, they hold my inheritance and any financial support over my head like a guillotine, ready to be cut off anytime. If volleyball doesn't... But it will. Honestly, Kyo, you're doing so well for yourself. Again, silence. He went to the sink to fill his bottle just to have an excuse to finish the conversation before attending the very job he was putting in jeopardy over this. Doesn't matter. We won't get anywhere like this. I just wanted to say that maybe I have a solution for the matchmaking. I know you hate it. He did. He really did, but any attempt to stop it was a fight against the tide. The flood would come regardless. He lied about having a boyfriend, it continued. He lied about having a girlfriend, they wanted proof. He had an actual boyfriend who broke up with him because he couldn't endure his parents' antics anymore. They tried setting him up on dates in front of his boyfriend. To say he was tempted by Motoya's suggestion was an understatement. I'll take your silence for curiosity. So, why didn't you get yourself a date? And here he had gotten his hopes up. You know how that went the last time. The pain was far from fresh anymore, but he was still upset. It wasn't like he had been the love of his life, but he was nice and certainly didn't deserve to be treated like garbage. And worst of all, Sakusa had already a really hard time to find someone he considered genuinely romantically attractive, from which point most were scared off by his odd nature, and now the rest were chased away by his family. Great. No, that's not what I meant. Nothing serious, just a fling. Or it could even be fake. Get someone who can put up with these idiots and warn them. If you want your peace of mind, ask a woman. If you want to piss off your parents, find a good partner in crime. Personally, that's my favorite option. You're clearly overestimating my social skills. How many friends do you think I have who I could ask something like that? Okay, so I see. The fling isn't an option. I won't toy with anyone's emotions like that. It's not toying with someone's emotions if the intention is clear from the get-go and both agree. He knew that. After all, he had several flings throughout his high school years and shortly after, some just to spite his parents. It was a lame excuse because, quite frankly, after a few rebounds, just casual stuff, nothing serious, following his previous relationship his parents had ruined, he felt no desire to get involved with anyone for a while. As to who, what about Mia? If he manages to tick you off so efficiently, your parents should be a piece of cake. We are not friends. I'll admit the amount of sexual tension between the two of you is a bit uncommon for platonic relationships, but I won't judge. And hey, I think you're on a pretty good way. His jaw clenched and he felt a distinct desire to reach through the phone and throw something at his cousin. I have to go to practice now. Think about it, you could... He hung up. He placed the phone in his bag and took his water bottle and quickly hurried out to the others, bowing to the coach an apology before joining them. Mian acknowledged his lateness with a slight nod, earning protest from Atsumu that he would always get scolded when he was too late, which admittedly didn't happen as often as expected. He truly loved his job, but still, on average, no one could compare it to Sakusa in being on time. To make up for it, Sakusa ran a couple of extra laps around the gym after training, unprompted but earning a nod of approval from Coach Foster. As such, he was last when entering the locker rooms again, catching a few snippets of a very interesting conversation. I'm telling you, Bo, there is something between Ami-san and Sumu-san. I'd bet on it. No way, Tsum for sure would have told us if that were the case. Don't you see how they look at each other sometimes? At each other? He didn't think he glanced at the blonde any longer than necessary in-game and on the court. I'm kinda with Bokuto on this one. Atsumu is such a show-off. He wouldn't have shut up about it if... If what? You know it's not nice to talk about people behind their back. Apparently he had just left the showers while the others were already changing into normal clothes again. Is there something between you and our favorite germaphobe? Who? Ami? Nah, but I'm sure he likes me. He said it with his typical confidence and Sakusa rolled his eyes, though he was sure Atsumu didn't mean it in a romantic way. As friends, or... Of course as friends. I'm not even sure he likes men. Dude, you're blind. Thomas laughed and Sakusa heard a rustling as he shouldered his bag. Yeah, though I think you'd be too annoying for him, Tsumu. Friends or not. Huh? Who do you call annoying? I bet he likes me. Sure, let's say $10. You're on. From the corner, he heard the not-so-quiet mumbling of Bokuto and Hinata making their own bets about whether they'd end up together. Sakusa leaned against the wall of the locker separating them, contemplating his options. Maybe, just maybe Motoya wasn't so wrong. And now he had something he could offer Atsumu in return. His pride. He was fairly certain Miya would do a fair deal for that. He walked in, knowing that waiting any longer would come off as weird, if it wasn't already, and went straight to the showers. He knew he would have the chance to catch Atsumu afterwards before he left. He was always the last one to leave, while Sakusa was usually the first. The only reason he noticed were days like these, when he was late in the morning. True to his expectations, once he returned, Atsumu was still there, slowly dressing himself. "I heard about the bet." He said it as nonchalantly as possible, while putting the towel aside and putting on his neatly folded clothes. Atsumu flinched and made an unintelligent noise of being caught. "I'm sorry, Ami. It was just a silly little... If you prefer, I'll cancel it. Not that there is much use to it now, anyway." He watched him struggle and waited until the blabbering subsided. "Not necessary." The blonde looked up surprised. "I actually wanted to suggest a deal that might be beneficial for the both of us." Atsumu's eyes narrowed in suspicion, and Sakusa had the slight hunch that he didn't want to know what was going on in his head at that very moment, so he quickly resumed talking. "My parents plan a family get-together for this weekend. They are quite conservative and always try to match me with some random girl, so Motoya suggested I'd bring a date to stop them. And preferably annoy them a bit, since I know no one more annoying than you." Atsumu raised his brows before his typical smug smirk spread on his cheeks that made him look somewhere between punch and kissable. "So, yeah, want me to be your date, Ami? Fake date." He was quick to clarify. "Sure, right, because you don't actually like men." "I like men, just not you." Atsumu's eyes grew round in surprise, so much that he almost forgot to be offended by the last part. He pouted. "And what do I get from that? I don't particularly fancy ya taking jabs at me for the whole weekend. I don't really have a thing for humiliation." Sakusa almost choked and struggled to keep his composure. Deep breaths. This was exactly why he was perfect for this. You can be your full-on annoying self the whole weekend. Flirt with me as aggressively as you like with no holding back and piss off some conservative assholes in the process. I know that is one of your favorite hobbies." Atsumu grinned wildly, almost feral, and Sakusa just knew he'd be in for a wild ride if the blonde agreed. Letting him run free was a dangerous calculation for Kiyomi's dignity, and he just hoped he would get to enjoy his parents' sour expressions without getting too flustered. "And you win the bet." The clear, joyous laugh of the setter echoed through the room and from the walls as he held his sides. "Yeah, got a deal, darling." "Save the pet names for the weekend." He quickly rushed out before Atsumu could see the blush blossoming on his cheeks, praying to the gods that he'd survive this one. Thank you all so much for watching to the end. I hope you liked this first part. As I said, there are many more to come. Hopefully not more than 6 parts. I'm trying my best, but I'm very excited because the script is completely finished already and I actually really loved how it turns out. Tell me what you thought about this first part. If you liked it, what your favorite quote is, put it in under the pinned comment, and yeah, leave a like if you liked it because it really helps the channel grow, and consider subscribing because that would be amazing and I love you so much for it. Now I hope you have a wonderful and amazing day.